Hi, this is the first lesson to learn advanced English by reading The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Today we are going to work with the first chapter of this beautiful children's novel. But before begin this lesson, let me provide you a brief introduction of this novel that was written by Lyman Frank Baum on 1900. It is about five curious characters who work together to a particular desire. Okay, let's start with this lesson. The way it works is, I'm going to read a summary slowly and clear as I can of this first chapter. And as you can see, I have marked some words that I consider are some difficult. So at the end of this lesson, I'm going to explain them one by one and do some exercises of pronunciation at lines with some unknown vocabulary. Go for it. The Cyclone. This is the story of a lovely little girl, Dorothy, who was, including her neat, loyalty black dog called Toto, the only thing that gives color and happiness in a sad and gray farm of Kansas. Even the plow berries, plus her aunt, her uncle, and all the broad sweep of the flat country seemed gaunt and dull. And there was another important thing to mention. The house they lived was small, simple, square, made of lumber, with the paint blistered due to the sun, without cellar nor garret, and the most curiosity thing, a hot dog inside in the middle. One day Uncle Henry took a glance to the north, where he saw ripples in the grass. It turns out that a stern cyclone was coming to them swiftly, and after wails of the cyclone and shrieks of the frightened family, the house where they had lived was elevated due to the cyclone. The big problem was only Dorothy and Toto were into the house at the time the cyclone lifted it up. Because of that, Dorothy lost her footing and sat down suddenly up on the floor. What happened is that Uncle Henry hid in the sheds, and Aunt Em managed get into a whole dog that was in the middle of the house. But she lost Dorothy when she was trying to shelter her in that whole dog. The only thing that Dorothy could do was that she crept to the hole and caught Toto by the ear, because Toto will fall into the void. After a startled experience in the midst of the dark, where the wind howled dreadfully, Dorothy, with Toto in her arms, was expecting ended up dashed to pieces when the house falls against to the ground. But unexpectedly, in spite of the swaying of the house and the wailing of the wind, the house landed gently into a magic and wonderful land, the land of the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Okay, before start the next section, please read by yourself this chapter. So please pause the video and take your time reading before to continue. Okay, now you have read the text. Let's check on a new vocabulary. Even the plowed prairies. Okay, plowed is this, and prairies is this. Simple as that. Remember the pronunciation. Even the plowed prairies. And all the broad sweep of the flat country seemed gaunt and dull. So, broad means wide-ranging, like a big space, something extensive. Sweep, as you know, is like clean with a broom, but sweep as a noun means an extension, okay? And flat country is like a desert plain. So, check it out again, on all the broad sweep of the flat country. Let me say it in Spanish. Y toda la amplia extensión del país llano. Next one. Seemed, gaunt, and dull. Gaunt means like when a person got thin, skinny, like this, and dull simply means boring. Uninteresting or tedious. Next one. Made of lumber. This is pretty easy. Lumber means wood. What happened is lumber refers to an old wood at the plural way. Okay, next. With the paint blistered due to the sun. Good. Blistered is this. Like when something got swelled, we can say. So in this case, the paint of the old house got this aspect because of the sun. Without cellar nor garret. Okay, pay attention. Cellar means warehouse, a deposit, let's say. And garret means attic. Okay, remember, cellar, warehouse, and garret is an attic. Uncle Henry took a glance to the north. As you can imagine, glance means like take a look. Another way to say it is gaze. It's like see something. Take a glance, take a look, take a gaze. Okay? He saw ripples in the grass. Ripples means waves. A small wave or series of waves. Remember the pronunciation, ripples. A storm cyclone was coming to them swiftly. Good. So storm means severe, a severe cyclone, and swift means fast. In this case, rapidly could be. Next one. After wails of the cyclone and shrieks of the frightened family. Okay, this could be hard, so pay attention. Wail means a lament, like a cry, and the pronunciation is the same when we say wail, the animal. Shriek is more than a wail or a lament. A shriek is like a scream of pain or a scream of fear, we can say. And frightened or frightened means afraid or scared. Simple as that. Dorothy lost her footing. Okay, as you know, foot is this. And footing in this context is like lose the balance, lose the equilibrium, okay? That's why Dorothy fell down upon the ground. Next. Uncle Henry hid in the sheds. Sheds or shed is that little house that people used to have there in USA. Remember the pronunciation. Sheds and shed. Whole dog. This is easy. Hole means cavity, a hollow, and dog is dig in past, like a dog digging a hole in the ground. Next one. Was that she crept to the hole and caught Toto. Creep is creep in past, and creep as a verb, pay attention, because creep as a noun is like the song of Radiohead. But in this case, creep as a verb is crawl. And in this case, in past, she crept to the hole and caught Toto by the ear to save him. Because Toto would fall into the void. As you can imagine, void is fall in a big empty space, like an abyss. Next one. After a startled experience in the midst of the dark where the wind howled dreadfully. So, startled means afraid or frightened as we just said. Midst is the same when we say in the middle of something. Howled is like a wail of a wolf, a howl. And dreadfully or dread is the same when we say afraid with horror. The addiction fully is something like overstate the word, like success to successfully, like a complete success. Expecting ended up dashed to pieces. So dash in this context, Dashed to pieces is like got ripped apart, a severe damage to a person or a thing. Understood? Okay, the last one to finish this part. In spite of the swaying of the house. Spite is the same when we say despite. Simple as that. And swaying means swing. Like Spider-Man that is swaying through the buildings. Okay, now the machine is going to read the first chapter of this book. So pay attention and remember the things we learned to understand more the story.
This is the story of a lovely little girl, Dorothy, who was, including her neat loyalty black dog called Toto, the only thing that gives color and happiness in a sad and gray farm of Kansas. Even the plowed prairies, plus her aunt, her uncle, and all the broad sweep of the flat country seemed gaunt and dull. And there was another important thing to mention. The house they lived was small, simple, square, made of lumber, with the paint blistered due to the sun, without cellar nor garret, and the most curiosity thing, a hole dug inside in the middle. One day, Uncle Henry took a glance to the north where he saw ripples in the grass. It turns out that a stern cyclone was coming to them swiftly, and after wails of the cyclone and shrieks of the frightened family, the house where they have lived was elevated due to the cyclone. The big problem was only Dorothy and Toto were into the house at the time the cyclone lifted it up. Because of that, Dorothy lost her footing and sat down suddenly upon the floor. What happened is that Uncle Henry hid in the sheds, and Aunt Em managed to get into a hole dug that was in the middle of the house. But she lost Dorothy when she was trying to shelter her in that hole dug. The only thing that Dorothy could do was that she crept to the hole and caught Toto by the ear because Toto would fall into the void. After a startled experience in the midst of the dark where the wind howled dreadfully, Dorothy, with Toto in her arms, was expecting ended up dashed to pieces when the house falls against to the ground, but unexpectedly, in spite of the swaying of the house and the wailing of the wind, the house landed gently into a magic and wonderful land, the land of the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Okay, to finish this video, I got some tasks and recommendations to follow. 1. Do lines with the sentences and words we saw, like this. 2. See this video again and again and go to read the real chapter 1 of this novel. I know this could be dull and boring, but this way you will remember all the words we learned better. 3. If you want and if you can, contact me to give you personalized classes and do more exercises with this book and others. This is my email. That's all for now. Wait for the next chapter and the next lesson of this novel. Bye bye.